into it. Let's talk about Star Wars. Hey, everybody. It's Joey. Oh. Don't need any of that. Anyway, hey, everybody. It is Joey. I am a little lower than usual because I am sitting on a ball. I'm sitting on a bouncy rubber workout ball. It's just, you sit all day and you want to get your exercise in. You could do some ab rolls or something. But yes, big news today, big Star Wars stuff happening. Gonzo is just passed out. He's just done. He's so excited for the Rise of Skywalker. The Rise of Skywalker. Can you believe it? I mean, there was rumors going around that Skywalker would probably be in the title, and then there was other rumors saying that the title might liken itself to a line from the prequels or something to that effect. So they got the Skywalker part right. I mean, they could change the name at any minute. They're not really beholden to the name. Now they kind of are. They can't really change it now, but they could have changed it at any point in the last couple days. But here we are, Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. A lot of crazy stuff coming out of Celebration today, coming out of that little panel we had. Probably the most surprising was what happened at the end. I'm seeing comments come in, but I'm not seeing them on my end. Maybe they might be from Twitch. I apologize. I will pop over to Twitch and see what folks are saying over there. Anyway, of course, as with any Star Wars thing that happens before the show movie really comes out or is close to coming out, they really can't say anything. So, unfortunately, we didn't get too much info from Stephen Colbert, who hosted the panel, from JJ and the cast. We got some nuggets. We got a new character, Jaina, I think it was called. So a lot of fun stuff. I'm not a hardcore Star Wars fan, but I very much love the saga series, the franchise. So it's always fun to get into it when new stuff comes out, and this is a movie that everybody's been waiting for. Of course, Star Wars, but since The Last Jedi, people have been kind of torn, and I'm very glad JJ's back, came back to do this. What they're saying is going to be the last one in the Skywalker saga, which it makes sense. Just finish up with the 9 and start on your next adventure. And you can always allude to the legend of the Skywalkers going forward. Hello, Anna and Jason. Jason says Star Wars forever. So the trailer showed pretty interesting stuff. There was little glimpses. It starts off with Rey doing her sort of backwards jump, her backflip over the ship, running away from it, and kind of, it's just, they seem like to be in the middle of the desert, and she just does this crazy backflip over a speeding ship. And then we get some glimpses of Kylo body slamming somebody, and we get some ship shots with voiceovers. From Luke, we get a shot of Lando in the Millennium Falcon with Chewie, which is fantastic. I'm so glad Lando's going to be in it. Billy D, forever. What else did we see? And we got the voiceovers were the most interesting part. And obviously, if you're watching this video, you saw the thumbnail I put for this video, because for a lot of people, that was the most, that was the most mind-shattering thing. The Palpatine voice laugh at the end, which shook me and a lot of people I know to our core, because Palpatine is supposed to be dead. What is it? And it comes right after Luke is saying people are never really gone. And then you expect, for the natural thing your brain does, it's like, oh yeah, because, you know, Han is gone, and possibly Luke, possibly Leia. She's in the trailer for a second, and Rey is kind of crying on her shoulder. What's cool about Leia is JJ said they had a lot of stuff from Force Awakens that really fit into this, that they were able to reuse in a way that makes sense, in a way that doesn't replace Carrie and Leia, and in a way that feels organic. So I'm very excited to see how that comes about in the next chapter. But Palpatine seemed to be the big pull. He came out on stage and said, roll it again, which again on its own sounds a little ominous. Roll it again. But let's see. I can't see these comments. Why aren't these comments coming up? I see them on the screen, but that feel organa. I get it. Twitch. Yes, I'm also streaming on Twitch simultaneously, so that's why there's other comments here. So I have Twitch chat open. But oh man, oh man, where was I? So yeah, Palpatine is back. He's back in some form. I mean, I guess if Yoda could come back, and Obi-Wan and Anakin can come back in to some degree, why can't the bad guys? Why can't Palpatine? He was, he's kind of the reason for the season. He's the reason that the Skywalkers are the Skywalkers. He corrupted Anakin. I mean, Anakin had his own issues, but he kind of led him down the path, which led him to be Darth Vader, who eventually defeats Palpatine, as far as we know. But then we have that scene towards the end of the teaser where they're looking at the fallen Death Star, which is insane. Go back to where it all began, I guess, to really round it out. JJ talked about, I believe it was JJ that mentioned something about ultimate evil. So it's interesting. I'm curious to see what they're going to do with this Palpatine thing, especially thinking about the name of the movie, Rise of the Skywalker. Is it going to be, this whole thing has been Vader. Everything is Vader. I mean, Luke, it's also Luke, but it's just the Skywalkers. But Vader is really the reason for the season. He's the one that started it all. Luke, they would have never been, anything if he wasn't led astray. Gary North says bringing Palpatine back just so Rey can kill him destroys Vader's redemption and Return of the Jedi. I mean, I don't know if that's gonna happen. There might be some a resurrection in a way. I don't. The Rise of the Skywalker thing brings up a lot of questions. Then I'm sure there are people out there that are far more knowledgeable on the Star Wars thing than I am, and I'm just kind of pontificating from my own subset of knowledge. But the Rise of the Skywalker thing is very interesting. Obviously, this it begs the question: is there a Skywalker amongst the new guys? It seems to be Rey. That seems to be the obvious answer. That Rey is the Skywalker that that the title alludes to, in the Last Jedi. Also, it's the Force of, everything is just Rey. Of course, she is the lead. But is she also the Skywalker? Probably. I think people are probably going to assume that now more than before. In what way is she a Skywalker? Who knows? Maybe she's not. It's still possible, very possible that she's not. And she's just the student of the Skywalker. She is not of that bloodline, but she is of the the I don't know, the she's very much in the depth of the Skywalker world, and you know, the Skywalker experience and the Skywalker. She's gonna maybe round that out for them. Maybe she is the period to the Skywalker story, and she could kind of be the one that tells the legend. Therefore, not to dismiss her own story, but being taught by a Skywalker puts her in a very historical and legendary, as another word they used in the trailer, legendary position. Not only are the Skywalkers legendary, but we have this Last Jedi, that's going to do what she does, depending on what happens in this film. Gary North says Rey is now Neo from the Matrix. In a lot of ways, she is the one. She's the one to redeem the Skywalkers and to maybe finally squash the Sith. As they know it. Obviously, the Jedi are not going to be the Jedi anymore, because that old creed and way of thinking, obviously, was very damaging. Because if it wasn't for the way the Jedi, did their thing, Darth Vader would have never been born, and that's sort of one of the more beautiful things about the prequels, is that it showed you how sort of twisted the Jedi Council had become, and that how that antiquated way of doing things just did not totally make sense, and it was a way to assert power over other people with power, other Jedis, and it's just that's the thing I liked about The Last Jedi. It kind of brought those antiquated notions that were prevalent in the prequels to light, and it kind of just pushed them away. I know people didn't like that, but I think I that's what I enjoyed about The Last Jedi. I think it took those ideas and it said, this is the problem. This is why we're at this point. This is why Jedis don't exist anymore. They were the sort of they made their own fate by putting in all these rules that led to Darth Vader and probably plenty of other lesser known Siths that just did not take to the Jedi way. They felt rejected, and I don't know. Shibuya Gaming says, I wonder if they'll bring back Jar Jar. I mean, I think he's still alive in this universe. He might be mentioned in one of the new post RetroCon novels, retcon novels. I need to work on this background set, by the way. It's kind of a mess. Anna says, I feel like I'm lacking some knowledge, but I haven't seen the Star Wars. Anna, go watch all of them. Now there's 8 of them, and there's going to be 9. Actually, there's also another 2 that you could watch. So you have a lot. You have a lot of catching up to do. Oh, you have seen. Okay, I read and haven't. And this is, I'm working 12-hour shift. I'm mounting up, and I'll watch the end tomorrow. Yes. Thank you for tuning in. Watch the rest later. Jason says the theme may be to overthrow of religion versus the rise of spirituality. Yes. I wholeheartedly agree with that. Shibuya says, I haven't seen 8 yet, though I haven't. Watch it. I liked it. I think a lot of people hated it. Of course, it felt very dark. It felt just very, I don't know, heavy compared to a lot of Star Wars films. It just felt very, almost sick, which I think rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Because the tone of every other Star Wars, I think in time, it'll have its place. When you're watching all 9, you get to this really dark place before you have, the rise of the Skywalker, which I'm hoping is going to be a very, well thought out and rounded out idea. But back to what Jason's point was, the theme may be to the overthrow of religion versus the rise of spirituality. I think this is a theme that they've been really integrating even into the side stories. I think Rogue One is a good tell of that, especially with all these kids kind of just looking up to the stars and believing in the Force as a thing rather than Jedi's. It's just like this like all surrounding energy, Force that anybody could tap into and use sort of in whatever way suits them best. I don't know where midichlorians fit into the Star Wars universe at this point. I don't know if they're still a canon thing. I don't. I'm guessing they are since they're part of the films, and I don't think they're gonna totally retcon things that happen in the films at this point. So I'm not totally sure where midichlorians stand. But with the I forgot the name of the character from Rogue One. I am the Force, and the Force is with me. That kind of mentality. I am the Force, and the Force is with me. It's sort of a that personal mantra that gives people power and purpose and all this stuff. So I think, Jason, you hit the nail on the head. The downfall of religion, organized religion, and this power structure versus the Force being for everybody, and it is something you could tap into that you could help you on the daily. It's sort of like what's happening right now in society. Less and less people are religious, more people are turning to sort of spiritual mindset. One with the universe and sort of using the universe as a means of understanding purpose and your place in everything, and kind of using it that way. So I very much love that, the whole thing, as I am somebody who also is sort of in that same place and mindset. So the fact that it is being integrated into one of the biggest franchises ever is a phenomenal thing. It is very big, and I know there's some people that are maybe younger audience that are gonna see it and kind of feel it that way. Some people might get upset because it makes religion seem bad, which at its core, it does a lot of good things. It does a lot of good things. It helps a lot of people, but there are, just like with the Jedi Council, but there are this very big and harmful majority that also coincide with religion. So which is something that was brought up in the prequels. We see that sort of repression in Anakin. That is like the whole deal. Like, he's just constantly told no, 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 no. He doesn't understand why. They don't really give him a good reason why. It's all about this discipline and kind of like having to be pure and one, but that it's just not reality. It's almost like there was no real reason for it. There's sort of these just like sort of flowery reasons that they had in place, but there was no grounding in it, and it was an antiquated reason and thought process and method that Anakin just did not take to. And Yoda was he was like sort of the last of the old guard, but Yoda's wise beyond his years. And even in The Last Jedi, he burns the freaking like little tower thing because he knows what damage it's done. Maybe he didn't see it at the time, or he saw it too late. But that's why he kind of blows up that little house with the books in it. I forgot what they called it. But Yoda understands that as well. He's like, we messed up. This is not the right way to do it. It is the old way, and that was just a different time. This is it doesn't work anymore. Maybe it didn't work then. Maybe that's what bred the Sith in the first place. So it's I just really love what they're doing with it. It's bringing it to a very deep place without losing any of its own soul and its own substance and what makes Star Wars. And I think JJ is the perfect person. He has such adoration. He is a talented dude. I'm a very big fan of JJ. I very much I love Force Awakens. I know people have mixed feelings, but I watched it. I've probably seen it 20 times, to be completely honest. So I'm very glad they came back for this one. Ryan Johnson seems to have loved it, but in a very different way. JJ has like a romance for Star Wars, which I think is very, very awesome. And you know, he is. I think as Star Wars fans, we should be happy that it was given to him, because he's, you know, like he's just very much all about it. It's just so. I'm very glad that JJ was the ultimate choice for Force Awakens, and now Ryan Johnson did his sort of his dark duties with The Last Jedi, and he got a lot of hate for it. But I think that film needs to live, and I think maybe further down the line, people are going to see how that fits into the whole thing. I think that dark Last Jedi movie, that very dark, kind of sad, sick movie, is going to have its place in time. Android says, literally just watched the trailer after seeing the thumbnail and first time catching this live. Well, I thought that thumbnail would bring people in, because that is, for me, that was the most exciting part about that trailer. Just the prospect of Palpatine, this just figure that stands out in our minds that we haven't heard from in a while. And, you know, we had Snoke, but Snoke was killed in Last Jedi. But he never felt like a big bad to me. He felt like just sort of this guy who took up a mantle because there was literally nobody else. He saw an opportunity, took it, but he never had that big bad feel. Not even in Force Awakens. He was kind of, you know, intimidating, and you know, he was sort of like classic villain. But I don't think he never had that quality to me. That like whole like things are bad, things are like, this is true evil. He just seemed like sort of a flowery, like just villain type that, you know, was just took advantage of a situation where he was one of the only ones left to take a mantle and to, you know, exact power, and he's there. But now that Palpatine is back in the picture, that sets up a whole new precedent. You know, because we had counted him out. Turn of the Jedi, you know, Vader throws him, you know, he throws him to his eventual death. But, you know, a supposed death, anyway. Not eventual, supposed. But due to that, one of those last scenes of them looking at the dilapidated Death Star, it seems like they're going back to the Death Star, back to where it all ended or it all began. Either one. So it's gonna be crazy. I don't like. I want to pontificate as much as possible with the little bit of information we have, but you know, I think we could probably speak for weeks until another trailer comes out about what we saw in that 2-minute trailer, teaser trailer, not even a full trailer. These teaser trailers are more, I think, for fans, because they give you a lot. It's kind of just like a little sample of stuff, and they're right. We've already been talking about this for a half hour, and we could probably talk about it for hours, and just dissect every single scene and kind of just extrapolate go back and forth with everything. But maybe for another time, I'm going to end it there. Thank you guys for watching. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. That would help. There's going to be more videos like this as more information comes out, and maybe we'll have bigger discussions. We'll have to figure that stuff out and maybe schedule actual discussions so people can know when things are actually happening. And I know that would be helpful for a lot of people, especially people overseas. I know I have a lot of UK viewers, so maybe getting something earlier on a weekend would be good for them. Anyway, again, thank you guys for watching. I hope you're all excited for the Rise of Skywalker. Very exciting day. And I hope everybody has a good weekend. So, again, thanks for watching, and see you later.